Hi hello dear children, welcome back to the session of complex numbers. In our last class we had a discussion on multiplication and division of two complex numbers. ಅಲ್ಲಿ multiply ಮಾಡೋದು and division ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ we have the properties of multiplication of complex numbers. So in this class I am going to discuss about very important topic in complex number is powers of I. We already discussed here, right? What is I is equal to? I is an imaginary number. This is also called iota. I is equal to square root of minus 1. Okay. Now listen. Powers of I. First one. We know that I is equal to square root of minus 1. What about I square? Last class I square is equal to minus 1. How I square is equal to minus 1? I will explain. Here we have I is equal to square root of minus 1. Right? What about I square? I square can be written as I square is equal to square root of minus 1 whole square. That is the root of minus 1 whole square. Here square root and square get cancelled. We left it here minus 1. Square root and square get cancelled. Right. Therefore, I square is equal to minus 1. This is very important. And the next one. I cube is equal to minus I and I power 4 is equal to plus 1. I will explain. I cube is there. Okay. So I cube is equal to minus I is there. Then what about I cube is equal to, you will write this as here I square into I anta baribadalva. I square into I, because 3 can be written as 2 plus 1. So I square into I power 1 agutte. I power 1 is nothing but I. Therefore I square into I. What is I square value? Minus 1 is there. So minus 1 times of I. This becomes minus I. Is it clear? I cube value is equal to minus I. What about I power 4? It's very simple. Tell me I power 4 ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೀತೀರಾ? I power 4 can be written as, very good, I power 4 can be written as I square whole square ಬರೀಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? I square whole square. What is I square value is minus 1. So minus 1 whole square. This is nothing but minus into minus becomes plus. 1 square again 1. So we left it here 1. I repeat again. I is equal to square root of minus 1. I square is minus 1. I cube minus I and I power 4 is equal to plus 1. I repeat again. I is equal to square root of minus 1. I square is minus 1. I cube is equal to minus I and I power 4 is equal to plus 1. Okay. These are the case. Please note it down. Next one. And I power minus 1 is equal to minus I. How comes I power minus 1 is equal to minus I and I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1? I will explain. Just listen here. Observe ಮಾಡಿ. I power minus 1 ಇದೆ. I power minus 1 can be written as 1 divided by I ಬರೀಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? 1 divided by I. So denominator ನಮಗೆ I ಇದೆ. How to simplify this one? I will multiply by and divide by I. Multiply and divide by I here. Okay. Next simplification actually 1 into I is here in numerator I. What about I into I is I square. So this becomes I square. So total we left with here I divided by. Now tell me what is I square value? Alide alva? That is minus 1. Therefore I power minus 1 is equal to I divided by minus 1 ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ನೀವು I divided by minus 1 ಇದೆ. How comes minus I there? ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Again multiply and divide by minus 1. Multiply and divide by minus 1 ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ minus into minus becomes plus. Plus I into minus 1 minus I. Divide by 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Therefore I power minus 1 is equal to minus I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I power minus 1 is equal to minus I. So what about I power minus 2? I will explain. I power minus 2 is equal to, ಇದನ್ನೇ ಬರಿಬೋದು ನೋಡಿ. So previously I power minus 1 now 1 divided by I ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. What about I power minus 2? Very good, that can be written as 1 divided by I square. Okay, 1 divided by, what is I square value? Right, very good, that is minus 1. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Multiply and divide by minus 1 there. Minus into minus becomes plus. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1 divided by 1. total I will write this as I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1. I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I power minus 1 is equal to minus I and I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1. Next one. I power minus 3 is equal to I. What is I power minus 3 is equal to I? I will explain. I power minus 3 ನಾನು ಏನಂತ ಬರೀಬೋದು? 1 divided by I cube ಬರೀಬೋದು ನೋಡಿ. Very good. 1 divided by I cube. So 1 divided by I cube ಇದೆ. I will write this as I square into I ಬರೀತೀನಿ. I square into I. How to simplify this one? Very good. 1 divided by I square value minus 1 into I ಬರೀತೀನಿ. Minus 1 into I. Okay. Now I will multiply and divide by I. So I ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ I ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದೇ ಟರ್ಮ್ದ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಆಯಿತು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ 1 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಇಸ್ ಐ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋಣ. ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಇಸ್ ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್. ಐ ಇಂಟು ಐ ಇಸ್ ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್. ಓಕೆ. ನಾವು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಈಸ್ ಐ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಈಸ್ minus 1. Minus into minus becomes plus. That is nothing but I divided by 1. So therefore I power 3 can be written as, sorry, I power minus 3. I power minus 3 can be written as I, just I here. Therefore I power minus 3 is equal to I. Is the case. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I power minus 3 is equal to I repeat again. I power minus 1 is equal to minus I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1, I power minus 3 is equal to I, and I power minus 4 ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೀಬೋದು? 1 divided by I power 4. This can be written as I power minus 4 is equal to 1 divided by I power 4. This is nothing but 1 divided by 1. So total we will left it here 1. This is how I power minus 4 is 1. Therefore I power minus 4 is equal to 1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಪಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐವ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Now dear students, now I would like to give 2 important notes on powers of I. Okay, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? What is I is equal to square root of minus 1, I square is minus 1, I cube minus I, and I power 4 is equal to plus 1. So what about this thing? I power minus 1 is equal to minus I power minus 2 is equal to minus 1, I power minus 3 is equal to I, and I power minus 4 is equal to 1. I power minus 4 is equal to 1. So take a note, and these two are very important. ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ I power 4k is equal to plus 1, I power 4k plus 1 is equal to I power 4k plus 2 is equal to minus 1, and I power 4k plus 3 is equal to minus I. Okay, what is k here? K is for any integer. Okay, for any integer k. So this is what's good for any integer k. So ನೋಡಿ, I power 4k is equal to 1 ಇದೆ. It means when the power of I is multiple of 4 ಇದ್ದಾಗ, when it is a 4 or minus 4, when it is a 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 100, 400, 1000, in all the cases I power 4k is equal to 1. When power is multiple of 4 is equal to 1. ನೋಡಿ, I power 4k is equal to 1. I power 4k is equal to 1. And the next one, I power 4k plus 1 ಇದೆ. I power 4k plus can be written as, I will write this split as I power 4k into I power 1 ಬರಿಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? Okay. So what about I power 4k ಏನಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ನಮಗೆ? 1 into I. This is nothing but I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು? So I power 4k plus 1 is equal to I. Next one, I power 4k plus 2 is equal to, okay, ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. I power 4k into I square. I power 4k is 1. What is I square? Now tell me value of I square is minus 1. So 1 into minus 1 becomes minus 1. Total will be left with here minus 1. That's why I power 4k plus 2 is equal to minus 1. Next, I power 4k plus 3 ಇದು next simplify ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Very good. Again I power 4k into I cube. So you already know the value of I power 4k, right? What is I power 4k is 1. I power 3 is minus I. This total value is here minus I. Clear? I power 4k is equal to 1. I power 4k plus 1 is equal to I. I power 4k plus 2 is equal to minus 1 and I power 4k plus 3 is equal to minus I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ಓಕೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ 2. I power k plus I power k plus 1 plus I power k plus 2 plus I power k plus 3 is equal to what? 0 ಇದೆ. When we get the 4 consecutive integers, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are consecutive, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are consecutive, 5, 6, 7, 8, they are consecutive. So when you get these kind of integers, the value becomes 1. Sum of these values is 1. I'll explain it. Just k is equal to 1 ತೋಣ. K is equal to means I power 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ plus k plus 1 I square plus I cube plus I power 4. Now tell me, I write as it is. I square value, very good, that is minus 1 plus what is I cube value, very good, that is minus I plus I power 4 is plus 1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? It is I plus into minus becomes minus, plus into minus again become minus I plus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 get cancelled, plus and minus I get cancelled, total we left with here 0. Therefore I plus I square plus I cube plus I power 4. So total value this becomes 0. I repeat again, for any 4 consecutive integers, sum of all the powers of I becomes 0. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ? I power k plus I power k plus 1 plus I power k plus 2 plus I power k plus 3. If I substitute 10, 11, 12, 30, that is also 0. Again 20, 21, 22, 23, again 0. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ? This is the case. This is the powers of I. Here the important is I square, I cube and I power 4. Then multiple of 4 ಇದ್ದಾಗ the value become 1. So take a pause and note down all the things what I have written here. Now dear children, so far we had a discussion on powers of I. Next I would like to discuss about the problems. They are very important on powers of I. Okay, first one and simplification only. Problem number 1, express the following in the form a plus ib. So we have to express the given complex number in the form general form. ಏನಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ a plus ib ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ minus 5 into I into 1 divided by 8 into I ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, minus 5 into I into 1 divided by 8 into I. First one solution. First one ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡಿ, given ಏನಿದೆ ಟರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ minus 5 into I into 1 divided by 8 into I ಇದೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ, is equal to, ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಫಸ್ಟು ರಿಯಲ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ I into, that is a 5 into 1 divided by 8. Okay, then I into I. First the coefficient of I here, minus 5, again here 1 divided by 8, minus 5 into 1 by 8 into, here we left with I and here I, total we left with I square. So minus 5 divided by 8 into I square Okay, minus 5 divided by 8 into what is I square value? Very good, that is minus 1. So we left with here minus 1. This becomes minus into minus becomes 5. So 5 divided by 8 ಆಯಿತು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ನಮಗೆ a ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಐ ಬಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ವಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5/8 ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಇಯರ್? ಪ್ಲಸ್ 0 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಬರಿಬೋದಾ? 0 ಇಂಟು ಐ, ದೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ 5 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಇಂಟು 1 divided by 8 into I becomes 5 divided by 8 plus 0 into I. That is a general form. Now tell me, so what is the real part here? 5 divided by 8. What about imaginary part? It is 0. That is, it is purely real. Here real part is 5/8 and imaginary part is 0. Take a pause and note on all the things what are written here. Okay. Next I will discuss about the second problem on the same thing. Minus I into 2I minus 1 divided by 8 into I cube ಇದೆ. What is the power here? 3. Second question. Given minus I into 2I minus 1 divided by 8 into I whole power 3 ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು? ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಮೈನಸ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಬರೀಲ್ಲ, ಮೈನಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 2 ಹಾಗೆ ಬರೀತೀನಿ. 2i ಇಂಟು ಐ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್. ಸೊ ಮೈನಸ್ 2 ಇಂಟು ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟು ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 8 ಹೋಲ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇಂಟು ಐ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಂತ ಬರಿಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ಬಿ ಹೋಲ್ ಪವರ್ ಎನ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎ ಪವರ್ ಎನ್ ಇಂಟು ಬಿ ಪವರ್ ಎನ್ ಬರಿಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮೈನಸ್ 2 ಹಾಗೆ ಬರೆದು ಐ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು? ಸೊ ಇಯರ್ ಐ ಪವರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 8 ಹೋಲ್ ಪವರ್ 3 ಇದೆ. 3 ಟೈಮ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮೈನಸ್ 1/8 ಇಂಟು ಮೈನಸ್ 1/8 ಇಂಟು ಮೈನಸ್ 1/8. ಸೊ ಮೈನಸ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ 3 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಆಡ್ ಪವರ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೋಣ ಹೋಲ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 8 ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೈನಸ್ ಐ into minus I. Again minus into minus become plus 2 into minus I power 3 is minus 1 divided by 8 cube and written as 8 into 8 into 8 into minus I. Okay, 2 ones are 2 fours are get cancelled. Minus into minus become plus. 1 into I is I. 4 8s are 8 fours are 32 into 8 left 256. ఏమంత వాల్యూ 256 ಬಂತು. I divided by 256. This can be written as 1 divided by 256 into I ಬರೀಬಹುದು. 1 divided by 256 into I. This is nothing but real part is 0 plus I times of 1 divided by 256. This is how the given complex number minus I into 2I into minus 1 divided by 8I whole cube can be written in general form A plus IB. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? Take a pause and note on all the things what I have written here. Okay. Now we are moving to the third problem. The same thing. Problem is here 5I into minus 3 divided by 8 I. 5I into minus 3 divided by 8 I. Third problem. Third problem. Solution for third question. Given 5I into minus 3 divided by 8 into I. 5I ಇದೆ. So just go with your coefficient. 5 into minus 3 divided by 8 into I is I square. I into I is I square. Therefore, minus 15 divided by 8. 5 3 is 15, plus into minus becomes minus 15 divided by 8 into minus 1. So total weight is there, minus into minus becomes plus 15 divided by 8. What will be left there? 15 divided by 8. Okay, so how to express this one? Here the real part is there, whatever the imaginary part is 0. Adunu yav tara bariyudu nodana. 0 into I. So this is the way to express the given complex number in the general form a plus ib. Take a pause and note on all the things what I have written here. Okay. Next we are moving to the fourth problem and the same thing. I power 9 plus I power 19 ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ 4 ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬಿಕಮ್ 1. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 9 ಇದೆ. ಸೊ 9 ನಾನು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ 4 ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೀತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 9 ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ 4 ಯಾವುದಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ 8 ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ 8 plus 1 becomes 9. So this can be written as I power 8 plus 1. Okay, problem number 4. Given I power 9 plus I power 19 ಇದೆ. I power 9 plus I power 19. So this can be written as I power 8 plus 1 ಬರೀಬೋದಲ್ವಾ. 9 can be split as 8 plus 1. Now tell me, so which is the number multiple of 4 near to 19? Which number? Either go with your 16 or 20. So 20 ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Multiply and divide by I. ಇವಾಗ I power 19 plus 1 20 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಟರ್ ಟು ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ಯರ್ I power 16 ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ 19 can be written as 16 plus 3. Okay, this becomes I power 16 plus 3. So this can be written as I power 8 into I plus I power 16 into I cube. I power 16 into I cube. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ನಾವು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ I power 8? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ 4 ನೋಡಿ. 4 into 2 that is I power 4k ಬಂತಲ್ವಾ. I power 4k is equal to what? Plus 1. Similarly, this term reduces as 1 into I plus, again this is also 4 4s are 16. This is also 1 into I cube is minus I. So therefore this can be written as 1 into I is I minus plus into minus becomes minus I. So total value left with here 0. Total value left is 0. Therefore the simplification of I power 9 plus I power 19 is 0. 0 ಬರೀಬೋದು. You can write this as I into 0. This is also express. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I repeat again, I power 9 ಇದೆಲ್ಲ that can be split as 8 plus 1. That is a multiple of 4 plus remaining thing there. I power 8 plus 1 ಆಯಿತು plus I power 16 plus 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Therefore I power 8 value is plus 1, I power 16 also plus 1. When it is a multiple of 4, I is plus 1. So 1 into I is I plus 1 into minus I is minus I. Plus I and minus I get cancelled, we left with here 0. Therefore I power 9 plus I power 19 is 0. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ಓಕೆ, ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಪಾಸ್ and note on all the things what I have written here. Now dear students, I would like to discuss about the next two problems. These are very important. And the problem is fifth one, 3 times of 7 plus I into 7 plus I times of 7 plus I into 7. ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, is very important. Fifth one, given 3 times of 7 plus I7 plus I times of 7 plus I7. Okay, ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಇಂಟು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ 3 ಇಂಟು 7 21. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ಲಸ್ 21 I ಬರಿಬೋದಾ, ಆರ್ I ಇಂಟು 21 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನಾವು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಬೈ I here. I into 7 is 7I plus I into I is I square into 7. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I into I is I square into 7. This becomes 21 plus, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ 21I plus 7I ಇದೆ. This can be written as 28 into I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ? 21 plus 7 is 28 into I ಇದೆ, that is I. Plus I square is minus 1 into 7. This becomes 21 plus 28I minus 7. Plus into minus become minus, 7 into 1 is 7. This becomes 21 minus 7. Simplify. 21 minus 7, that becomes 14 plus 28I. This is the required answer. Now tell me, what is the real part here? 14. What is the imagined part? Imagined part is plus 28. Artha aita makla? Take a pause and note on all the things. Okay. Now I would like to discuss about next problem on the same thing. 1 divided by 5 plus I into 2 divided by 5. It is not I square here. I times of 2 divided by 5 minus 4 plus I times of 5 divided by 2. ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ನೋಡಿ 5 ಇದೆ, ಟೇಕ್ LCM ದೆನ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ 6. Given 1 divided by 5 plus I into 2 divided by 5 minus 4 times of, minus of 4 plus I into 5 divided by 2. Simplify ಮಾಡೋಣ. 1 divided by 5 ಆಗೆ ಬರೀನಾ, plus I into 2 divided by 5 minus 4 minus I times of 5 divided by 2. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಇದೆ, minus into plus becomes minus, minus into plus becomes minus. Now take the real part. 1 divided by 5 minus 4, okay, plus I in 2 divided by 5 minus I into 5 divided by 2. So what is the LCM here? LCM is 5. So 5 is LCM because denominator 1 ಇದೆ. LCM is 5. 1 minus 5 4s are 20. Plus if you want to take I as common there. I common ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Here we left with here 2 divided by 5 minus 5 divided by 2. Next is simplification. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ 1 minus 20 ಇದೆ. So 1 minus 20 becomes minus 19 divided by 5 plus, again I write as it is, I times of 10 is LCM, 5 2s are 10, 10 is LCM. ನೋಡಿ, when you divide 10 by 5, we left with here 2, 2 into 2 becomes 4. Minus, when you divide 5, that is 10 divided by 2, we left with here 5, 5 5s are 25. This becomes minus 19 divided by 5 plus I times of minus 21 divided by 10. So total simplification is minus 19 divided by, tell me, 5 minus I times of 21 divided by 10. Minus I times of 21 divided by 10. This is our required answer. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? Take a pause and note on all the things what are written here. Now dear children, I would like to discuss about next question on the same thing. Express the given complex number as a plus ib. Okay, I power minus 35 ಇದೆ. What is I power minus 35? ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ತರ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು? I will explain. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, given I power minus 35. ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬರೀಬೋದು ನೋಡಿ. If I take this term to denominator, minus becomes plus. So 1 divided by I power 35 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1 divided by I power 35. Now multiply and divide by I. Okay. ಇವೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ 1 into I becomes I divided by I power 35 into plus 1 ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಬೇಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಆ್ಯಡೆಡ್. ಓಕೆ ನೋಡಿ 35 ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಸ್ 32 plus 3 ಅಂತಲೂ ಬರೀಬೋದು. 32 is a multiple of 4 ಆ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಯಾರು I power 35 plus 1 in numerator I power 35 plus 1 is 36. I divided by I power. Okay, so 36 is nothing but is a multiple of 4. We already discussed here, when I power is a multiple of 4, the value becomes 1. So here also we left it here I divided by 1. This is nothing but I. So total value is equal to I power minus 35 is equal to what is I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? Take a pause and note on all the things what are written here. Now dear students, I will give some important problems for homework. Please solve these problems, and if you have any doubt ask me, I will explain. Okay. Homework problems. Express the following in the form of a plus ib. Following complex number in the form of a plus ib. ನೋಡಿ I power minus 39 ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಟೇಕ್ ಟು ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ 1 divided by I power 39 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ, ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ಲಿ ಐ ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ಲಿ I power 39 plus 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ 40. ಸೊ I power 40 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ 4, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಈಸ್ 1. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ನಮಗೆ I ಬರುತ್ತೆ. And second question, this is also very important and very simple question. Take 3 as LCM here, simplify ಮಾಡಿ. ನಮಗೆ 1 plus 7i ಬರುತ್ತೆ, whole divided by 3. Here take 3 as LCM. 4 3s are 12. 12 plus I divided by 3 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ 3ನ LCM ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, minus 4 plus 3i whole divided by 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 3. 5 minus 3i whole power 3 ಇದೆ. ಹೋಲ್ ಪವರ್ 3 ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೆನಪಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ? a plus b whole power 3 or a plus b whole cube or a minus b whole cube. ಆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 4. 1 divided by 3 plus 3i. ಇದನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಟೇಕ್ 3 as LCM there, then simplification. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 5. 1 minus I power 4 ಇದೆ. 1 minus I power 4. 1 minus I power 4 ಯಾವ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? I'll explain this problem. ನೋಡಿ 1 minus I power 4 ಇದೆ. This can be written as 1 minus I power 2 plus 2 ಬರಿಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? 1 minus I power 2 plus 2. This is nothing but 1 minus I whole square. 1 minus I whole square. Simplify ಮಾಡಿ. A minus B whole square expansion. A square plus B square minus 2ab. Alright, here ನೋಡಿ A minus B whole square expansion. A square plus B square minus 2ab. ಇಲ್ಲಿ A is 1, B is I. 1 square plus I square minus 2I into illustration 1 square plus I square minus 2i. This becomes 1 square is 1, I square value minus 1 minus 2i. Again 1 minus I minus 2i. So plus 1 minus 1 get cancelled. Sorry, this is minus 2. Here also plus 1 minus 1 get cancelled. Here we left with here minus 2i. Here also minus 2i. Minus into minus becomes plus. 2 2s are 4. I into I is I square. 4 times of minus 1. Total value is minus 4. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? I power, that is 1 minus I power 4 is equal to minus 4 bar. This can be written as 0 into I. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? Okay. These are the homework questions. Solve all the problems. If you have any doubts, please comment in a comment box. I will give the solution. In our next class, I will go to discuss about polar representation of the complex numbers. Thank you all.